Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And put up my Lil Pump mixtape review recently, where I said I enjoyed the tape because I do enjoy the tape. I was listening to it again yesterday, I think. And yeah, overall, I think it's a good tape. If you want to know my thoughts on that tape, I'm going to probably link my review to it at the end of this video. But a lot of people have been coming to me because of my enjoyment of the tape, the fact that I gave the tape a 7, which I only find funny because everybody's freaked out about it. People are sort of comparing directly the Lil Pump tape with Kendrick's new album, Damn, because I gave both of them 7s. I enjoy both of them about on the same kind of, enjoyability level, enjoyability factor. However much it is the threshold at which I enjoy an album, I sort of gauge both of those records in a similar way, in a similar enjoyment level. However, this has a lot of people comparing the two projects as if like they're really all that comparable. In my opinion, certainly you can if you want to go that far to compare a Lil Pump tape to Kendrick's latest album, or even To Pimp a Butterfly if you want. I think comparisons like that open up interesting discussion when it comes to music, what exactly makes one project tick and another project tick, and so on and so forth. But I feel like these weird comparisons and false equivalencies come as a result of the fact that hip hop has so few clear and discernible subgenres within the genre itself. And because of that, even though you have different rappers with different styles and different tones and different musical approaches and different messages, it's like no matter what, everybody, especially if they're popular, are lumped into the same grouping and are compared one after another as if they're trying to do the same thing or even appeal to the same audience. The hip hop audience is so huge and so massive at this point. Not everybody is listening to the same thing. Not everybody is into the same thing. You have different hip hop fans with different tastes who like certain types of rappers and avoid other types of rappers. And that's kind of why making a direct comparison to Lil Pump and Kendrick in such a way where enjoying them is mutually exclusive. Like you can't like both, or one's music being good means the other's music is bad. Again, is kind of like a weird claim to make. To compare Lil Pump to Kendrick or say, hey, one's bad and one's good, or one's superior and one's inferior, is about as sensible as trying to compare between like King Crimson and the Ramones. Obviously, one takes an ultra simplistic approach to their music. It's not that deep. It's super surface level. It's just kind of fun. It's bubblegum. It's dumb. It's rowdy. It's crazy. And then the other is super progressive, and it's jazzy, and it's influenced by classical music too, and it's very conceptual, and it's, very heady, and it's over the top, and it's trying to be ultra deep. And just because one's music is, in a sense, by pretentious music fans and critics considered to be like a bit of high art, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Ramones music is bad, or that the Ramones music is inferior, or that the Ramones music can't also be enjoyed alongside a King Crimson album. So to me, it's not really a mental or a taste disconnect to say, hey, I really like this new Kendrick album. It's not my favorite album of his, but I think it's very good. It's not a disconnect to say that, but also simultaneously say, I really like this new Lil Pump tape too. Now, granted, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are advancing this and talking about this just for the sake of the meme of it, like, oh my God, Lil Pump and Kendrick. Oh, this is crazy. Ah! But there are some people who seem legitimately unhappy about the whole thing. Thousands of them thumbed my Lil Pump review down. And, that's totally fine if you're unhappy with the fact that I like the tape. I think it's a dumb tape. I'm under no assumptions that it's more than what it is. However, I mean, the bass is amazing. The energy is amazing. There's so much attitude on that tape. It's so fucking nasty at some points. It's so incredibly catchy at some points as well. Like, it obviously is very gimmicky, and there's not a lot of technical ability to what's happening there, but I still find the tape really enjoyable. And I don't think that enjoying the tape means that I can't enjoy like anything Kendrick does or anything any other musician does in any other genre, frankly. When I listen to a Lil Pump project, I mean, I see him as being more in competition with other rappers that are in that style and of that ilk, like freaking Smoke Perp and Trippie Redd and, friggin' XX and, Ski Mask the Slump God, that sort of thing. And even though a lot of people might label their music as like trap or label it as, pop rap or something like that, even that to me, like a lot of what these guys are doing who have come out of the whole SoundCloud scene, like what they're doing is so different and so far beyond, even though they are influenced by trap, like it's so far beyond like what a Waka Flocka Flame is doing. Clearly that's an influence. Clearly like a Chief Keef is an influence. But to me, it sounds like a new genre. It sounds like a new direction. It sounds like a totally different thing that, while influenced, is completely separate. Not only from guys like Kendrick, but guys that clearly influence this style. So I feel like going forward, it would help and make more sense for the discussion around these artists and the discussion around this genre as a whole if people and if critics like were just a little bit more willing, and artists as well, to just kind of like label this stuff effectively so that people could find it and people could know what they're getting into before they listen to it. Genres are not a bad thing. Genres help people define and categorize stuff. Genres help people understand sort of the family tree of music, as it were. I can't think of the technical term, the scientific term that you would apply to that, but sort of the genealogical is maybe what I'm looking for here. People can sort of see the family tree of music a little bit better when you're talking genres and subgenres and seeing what came from where and what artists influence what, and when certain eras and certain movements and certain trends within music start and when those trends end. Right now, like all of that is happening at a rapid pace, maybe so fast that we actually don't have time to categorize it effectively with a series of terms that legitimately have the time that they need to catch on, because, next year what guys like Lil Pump are doing, who the hell knows? It may not even be popular anymore, and a new crop of rappers with a totally different sound could be coming out of left field from another internet platform, and that'll catch on. So maybe, it's all of this stuff is moving too fast for us to really kind of keep up with it in a way. But still, I feel like this kind of mosh pit of comparisons from one artist to the next and saying, oh, this can't be that good because that artist, it's all just throwing it all together as if it's all like the same kind of hip hop. It just doesn't make sense, especially in this day and age where you have Death Grips, you have Kendrick Lamar, you have Lil Pump, you have Open Mike Eagle, and you have people who are even weirder than all of that. You have a guy like Blackie, who, I guess recently he hasn't been doing much stuff that you could categorize as hip hop, but I'm just trying to think of some of the weirder stuff. You have Shabazz Palaces. Like, you have all of these artists who are so wildly different from one another, and to just label it all as like, oh, this is hip hop, or this is just like conscious hip hop. Like, it's kind of not really that specific. It's kind of not really serving the purpose as a genre label in truly defining something that it should be. So yeah, those are essentially my thoughts here. Comparing Lil Pump and comparing Kendrick, again, in the abstract, in the general, I think it's totally cool. I think it's totally fine because, again, discussion comes out of that about what makes a certain artist tick and the fundamentals of certain types of hip hop. But to say that you're sort of comparing them merely through a lens of quality doesn't totally make sense, because what makes the Lil Pump quality to me and what makes the Kendrick quality to me are two totally different things. Like, the appeal of Lil Pump is vastly different from the appeal of Kendrick Lamar. And that's basically all I wanted to say here. Thank you guys very much for hearing me out. I know some of this for you has been a joke, and that's totally fine. I think it's really funny too. But for those of you who are serious, and I think this discussion, does warrant these comparisons warrant a serious discussion. For those of you who are sort of into the idea of that happening, thank you for watching and sticking around and hearing me out. And let me know what you think down in the comments about all of this, please. Again, that Lil Pump review is linked over here next to my head, or you can click on the link to subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you guys in the next one. You're the best. Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah.